Welcome once again to Learn Math with me, Brian Sapinski. I apologize that I have not been a regular updater of this channel. It was not my intention to go so long without posting videos and lessons. The teaching world since the pandemic has kept me busier than I ever thought that it would. Case in point, our dog Sally, who you see now and had previously appeared in our New Year's video back in 2019. She turned 16 back in January, and I had intended to make this video back then in celebration of that milestone, but my regular job and keeping up with my kids' studies just kept eating away at my time. Unfortunately, time has its way of playing its cruel tricks on you, as on Sunday night, May 8th, our amazing dog Sally had to be put to sleep. Obviously, we are all gutted and heartbroken beyond anything, as I'm sure many of you have felt who have lost a pet and, let's be honest, a family member. Sally, for Andrea and I, was our first child. We got her on April 15th, 2006, the day before Easter, as a playful 3-month-old Bichon who wouldn't stop tugging at Andrea's shoelace in the meeting room. Over the years, her sometimes playful, often very chill nature was infectious to everyone. Her trademark was Crazy Sally, as shown here from my Sudoku video. I would hold my hands over her like a crane game claw ready to glomp her face, and her reaction would be to swat and hide upside down in defense. It was the biggest smile that I could get on any day when I could get her to play. In these last couple of years, when she couldn't climb stairs or jump on and off couches and beds, my dad helped make this ramp that allowed her to walk up and down from the couch as she pleased. As you can see here, she was very reluctant to use it at first, but she got the hang of it fairly quickly. Then in more recent years, she started getting really feisty with us, temperamentally pawing at her dish at several times in the day, even almost regularly around 4 in the morning whenever she wanted food or water, and barking when we didn't give it to her fast enough. It may have annoyed us when we were in the middle of other things, but we can never stay mad at our Sally and her Sally ways for very long. She just meant so much to us. So in the end, Sally was with us on this great earth for 16 years, 111 days, and almost all of them spent as a part of our family. And at the time I first went to make this video, I had been wondering, how old is she in human years? Well, I know one thing for sure. If you're still a believer in the old adage that 1 dog year equals 7 human years, it's time to stop listening to that fake news. Because if you think about it, there are many dog breeds where dogs who are only 1 year old, or sometimes even less, that are breeding puppies. That would make the dog only 7 years old in human years if the logic held up. The idea of a 7-year-old having kids is something that even Maury Povich wouldn't touch. What's worse, no one really knows where the whole myth started. Even in my research, the best that I could find is that going back to the 50s or 60s, the average age of a dog was around 10 years, and humans had a life expectancy of around 70. So as the quick math shows, there's your magic 7 right there. But to say based on that Sally lived to be over 114, that doesn't make any more sense than the 7-year-old having a kid thing. So if that's not true, then what is? Well, the answer to that is actually evolving quite a bit. It first needs to be understood that a dog actually grows and matures much faster than a human does, reaching close to full size by the time that they are 1 year old. Furthermore, the average weight of the dog also plays a critical role. The smaller the dog is, the slower it ages upon maturity compared to larger dogs. This is agreed upon by all of the formulas that I researched for this piece. But unfortunately, the similarities end there because there was no agreement on exactly how quickly the dogs age from year to year. The first thing I found was this chart from the American Kennel Club. It puts most dogs at 1 year olds around the age of a 15-year-old human. And not that a 15-year-old kid should be having children of their own either, but that still lines up a lot closer to reality. By the time they reach around 3 years old, the increase in age takes place at a roughly linear rate, though in trying to detect those patterns, I do pick up a couple of odd spikes or dips here and there. While this table is convenient, it doesn't offer any actual formula as to how these ages were calculated. My search for that took me down 4 different paths, each with a different level of algebra to it. First, there was a formula that I just discovered, courtesy of the YouTube channel How to Solve Puzzles. Based on his own research, he created this formula which uses 14-year-olds as a base constant for a 1-year-old dog. Then has two variable slots for the dog's age and one for their weight. When I entered Sally's exact age and her average weight into this formula, the results say that she was about 80 and a quarter years old. Furthermore, though, when I tested the formula for ages 1 to 16, I saw that this formula was a perfectly linear growth, similar to what the AKC chart implies. Next, I found another formula that stems from a 1997 Purdue University study, itself based on a formula devised back in 1953. Both formulas are polynomial in nature, with the 1953 formula using a series of calculated coefficients based on weight as variables along with the dog's age, while the Purdue formula uses what was determined at the time to be the median age of dogs in their different weight brackets. Plugging in those numbers, along with an estimate of the coefficients in the 1953 formula to reflect that Sally was less than 15 pounds, gave me these as possible ages for Sally when she died. And from year to year, the aging actually changes, although it strangely goes from aging slower to aging faster around 13 years old. Plus, the fact that these formulas are discouraged for dogs less than 15 pounds, like Sally was, puts these results into question too. Finally, there was a study done at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine in 2019, which has been making the rounds recently. By identifying patterns called methyl groups from the dog's DNA, they created this logarithmic formula for calculating a dog's age. Now, the constant says that a 1-year-old dog is on par with a 31-year-old human, over twice as old as any of the other formulas, which is a lot more sensible to puppy breeding. From year to year, the logarithmic function then shows that the aging process continuously declines. Putting Sally's exact age into this formula, I get an estimate of about 75 and a half years old. But like the other formulas here, this too has a significant flaw, in that the study that was done to create this formula was done exclusively on Labrador retrievers, which means that the formula for other breeds of dogs is going to be slightly different, especially for lighter dogs like our Sally was. So, in the end, my research has left me with 4 different answers to my ultimate question, and it's highly possible that none of these are the accurate final answer. I can estimate that Sally lived at least into her 70s, but that's as close as I can get. And that makes me sad that I don't know the exact truth. But in the here and now, age doesn't really matter. What does matter is all the good times that we had with Sally, the smiles that she put on everyone's faces, and the way she made our lives so much brighter. We love you, Sally. There will never be another like you. May God bless Sally and all pets that we've lost along the way.
Why are you barking?